Welcome to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. I'm Dr. Amy Cooper Smith, a doctorate prepared nurse practitioner, and this show is about empowering you to live a radiant, healthy, and balanced life. I'm very excited to introduce today's guest, Caroline Johnson, the founder of Smart Pet Rescue. And our co host today is Otis, who will be helping us talk about this very exciting, important issue. So since 2022, Smart of Flagler County has been dedicated to rescuing, caring for, and rehoming dogs in need. So welcome and thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Amy. I'm so happy to be here. It's a great time of year for us and celebrating a lot of success stories and, adoptions. So happy to be here and share about it.
Oh, wonderful. So tell us about the pet rescue. How did it begin and what inspired you to start this venture?
After coming down here, working in mental health for my young adult years, had a car accident, came down for better weather, just arthritis kind of stuff. So I thought sun would make that better, right? So immediately boredom sets in. You're not working and doing much. So I started helping out with the lost pets in the area, which at the time was very minimal because we were a smaller community. It's about 16 years ago. So when I came down, so not such a big population and more seniors at the time. So as it grew, I started helping out, volunteering at the Humane Society, helping with those lost pets to reunite with owners. And it's kind of progressed into me doing adoptions for the shelter as a volunteer for years. And then started in 22 just so we can help and have more reach in the community. And we'd pick up a dog hit by a car, nowhere to take it, no funds. So the organization really started with that in mind, with when you find a dog, if there's an emergency or even a family that has a pet emergency but they can't afford, that $2,000 or $3,000 bill, how can we help them more?
Oh, wow. So you don't just find lost dogs and
Right.
abandoned dogs, but also you are a resource for people that, like you said, have pets and
Absolutely. So, and it really started. It's funny because SMART started as an organization while I was still volunteering for the shelter. I started it more so for the dogs from the Lost Pet page that needed emergency care, and for families who really needed it, because I was doing this for roughly 10 years already and helping families that really need it. Somebody make a post online, and with having that following already, I would step in and try to raise emergency funds. But you don't really have much reach if you don't have an organization, because a lot of fundraising efforts, businesses that want to help, they need to be able to write it off for
Right.
taxes. So there's just much more reach with it being an organization. So did not start it as a rescue per se, but
things evolve as they tend to do.
It evolved within 2 or 3 weeks, and we had
Oh, my
dogs in
goodness.
foster. So I'm very happy about it. I'm happy how it's growing. The team effort that's there, the support from so many that love the animals and love the efforts and the mission. So yeah, it's become an amazing organization filled with so many animal lovers. And if you can't foster, some people just want to donate and help with the medical. Some people don't have the funds to donate, but they rather foster and help save a life. Some people can't do either of those, so why not come out and volunteer at an event to help get them adopted? And and so many small businesses locally that really step in to help us. So it's been great watching it grow.
That's so wonderful. So what kinds of situations can lead to an animal needing to be rehomed?
We see so many stories now. It's with the high rise in cost of everything. A lot of families can't even afford food themselves, let alone to take care of animals. It's when you're faced with, do you pay your rent or do you pay vet bills or your mortgage? The dogs have to go. If it means you're facing foreclosure or eviction because you lost a job and can't afford. A lot of divorce. We see. The unfortunate part about that is a lot of families with that dispute and anger that comes after a divorce, neither one of them want the dogs. And so we try. The most heartfelt one is when you see somebody get a terminal illness. We get a lot of seniors reach out to us that don't want to see their fur baby that they might have had for 10 years end up in a kennel or in a shelter environment. They're concerned about euthanasia, especially if it's a senior dog. So we'll step in and help with a family like that. That's kind of a priority outside of the abused dog piece of it, which is our top priority. The next would be helping the seniors who are going into an assisted living or have a terminal illness because they don't really have options. Most of them don't even have family locally.
So somebody who is in a situation, whatever it is, whether it's health, finances, they cannot take care of their animal anymore. They can call you.
And we are doing our best to help most of them. The need right now is more than we can keep up with.
Yeah.
We're a small foster-based organization. Until we have a facility where we can house the animals, we're limited to who fosters. And that's hard because some of the dogs, especially the abused or dumped, you don't know background. So the ones coming from a home, from like a senior who has a terminal illness, you get to know a little more about the dog. So it helps us to place them quicker. But an abused or dumped dog who needs love and rehab and to learn to trust again, that's hard. So we're doing our best to help, raising donations to help with vet emergencies. We'll always make courtesy posts to try to raise the funds. It's hard. It's hard. If we can keep the pet in the home by helping them raise funds for an emergency and cover the vetting versus them surrendering, that's a better option for that dog, the family, and for everybody all around. So we will do our best. We can't take in as many dogs as we get messages for, but we try. We do our best.
So what is involved in fostering?
It's the most rewarding thing. It's fostering is really, ideally, you're taking mostly the abused and the dumped is what we take in. So you're taking an abused soul that just really needs to learn to love again. Some of them have never known gentle touch or regular feedings every day. Some of them have been starved. You just want to really work through those issues with them and teach them that how to be a dog again and a happy dog. And, we cover all the vetting, the supplies. We cover everything that's needed financially because we don't want it to be a burden on a family. We're happy that they're at least opening their home and their heart. So it's really just being, helping socialize them, helping them acclimate. If there's little issues or training issues that you can assist with, then help. If there's major issues that need help of a trainer, we will get trainers locally to help with that foster and the dog. So it really is just a stepping stone for that dog, if you will, of somebody to help them transition to a place where they're adoptable. So it's, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, do the people who are providing the fostering, did they need training so that they know how to deal with an emotionally damaged animal?
For not training per se, because really it's a matter of, just opening your heart, right, and being nurturing. Yeah. So most of the fosters are familiar and have had pets before, have pets now. It's no different than you did with your own, but it's recognizing signs that, things that might be a little trigger for a dog. If a dog has been hit before and you notice when you raise your hands, he's cowering and hiding.
Right.
It's finding little ways to work around those things and teach them that when you do that, reward them when they're not hiding. Take them out on walks in places where they see other dogs and people and can interact and see that nobody's going to hurt them. So it really is not training per se. It's just, some safety things that we'll go over if it's a new foster. If a trainer is needed because there's more of a severe case of abuse, that's where we'll get trainers involved and try to help them teach the foster how to really handle those situations. And for the most part, we've had really good luck. We haven't had any incidents of, a foster being injured by a dog or, another pet in the home per se. Most of them are happy to be safe, happy to be in a place where they can be loved, and happy to be eating because some of them have went weeks or months without food. So it's just a matter of really treating them no different than your own.
Yeah. And so you mentioned somebody could have a pet and still foster, and that actually can help the fostered dog.
Yes, absolutely. When it comes down to scared dogs, it's like kids, right? You
Yeah.
take an abused kid and put them with other kids who are loving and nurturing to them, and it helps them, especially if it was an adult that abused. So it's the same concept with the dogs. Is you know one dog like Otis. Otis is amazing at sensing another dog's energy and fear. So we have a dog that I'm fostering at the house now who was dumped out of a car just last week. We just took her in. She was dumped out of a car. The person opened the trunk, dumped her, pulled off, and then she was hit by another car right after. This poor girl has been through so much already. You can see where her collar was embedded and the fur outside of it grew over. So no telling what kind of suffering she's been through. She's cautious, and she has a right to be. But she, immediately when I brought her home, I do slow introductions on leash with them just to read body language and see kind of how they do. Otis can read them immediately. He's like perfect at it. I mean, he sensed her fear in her body language, and he just immediately rolled over, belly up, like in a submissive way. And honestly, Dr. Amy, it's amazing to watch, another dog go to help another. And it's the case with most dogs. It's like I have a pack at home myself that really opens up and is very warm and loving to the dogs that come in that need it most. So it's amazing to watch.
I wish people were like that.
Yeah, right.
So speaking of people, if somebody has a dog and it's just not working out, there are places they can go.
Absolutely.
That aren't on the side of the street.
Yeah. Yeah. Do what's right, and and I get it. There's shelters are full. Rescues like myself are overwhelmed because we're taking the burden of the shelters being full and people needing to surrender or dumping them. And I think it's take them somewhere. Take them to a vet's office and tell them, listen, I just cannot keep this dog. Animal control, anybody. But don't dump them on the road because lady, the one we just took in, thank God, the car didn't hit her very hard. But, we had to do full x-rays and a lot to make sure that she is okay. But that could have been fatal for her.
Right.
So it's
And then her recovery back into a normal home now is compounded with the fact that she's injured.
Absolutely. Well, and, not just that, but how many times do we see on the news, a loose dog ran up and attacked a kid or, another dog walking with their owner, and a dog runs up and attacks. So there's so many scenarios that can take place that are not good, when you dump a dog. And let's say that dog attacked a kid when she dumped him, that person is responsible for that. And it's the dogs ultimately suffer, right? And the kid is attacked, but because of somebody's bad choice. So there's always an option. Dumping them and doing something harmful should never be an option.
Right. And we make an agreement when we bring a pet into our home that they're with us until they're, not on this earth anymore, and we are responsible for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to have you hold that thought. We're going to pause for a break from our sponsor. You're listening to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. I'm Dr. Amy Cooper-Smith, and my guest today is Caroline Johnson from Smart Pet Rescue. And we have Otis here who's falling asleep on the job, but he'll pitch in at the end.
Yeah, I'll give a little bark saying thank you.
So before the break, we were talking about the mission you have at Smart and how you rescue certain animals, but I want to kind of touch on why we should have animals in our life. There's a lot of research that shows that having a pet increases well-being for humans. And so what has your experience been?
There's been so many studies done, but talking to people and having the pets yourself is the best study, right? You look at a dog like Otis. Sometimes I can come home, Dr. Amy, from one of the worst rescue days dogs pass away, hit by car, whatever. They sense your energy. They sense your stress. and they know when you're sick. They know I think people just underestimate how much power there is in these little fur babies and their instinct, and the love and nurturing they give. So, on a stressful day or after a long work day, I think to be able to come home to a wagging tail, whether it be dog,
Yes.
cat, to come home to the love and a nurturing of a pet kind of helps you decompress. It gives you a different kind of love that even humans can't give you,
Right.
a loyalty, a love, and a nurturing that it just, I walk into a room sometimes to do a presentation and I'll bring Otis and it just changes the entire vibe and feeling in the room, so there's seniors right now out there or even just adults that don't have family in town per se or not close to their family, might be alone. And you'll see them and talk to them or they'll adopt a dog and they'll tell you that it was just the best decision they ever made, the most life-changing. We adopted to somebody that has some severe depression in his life and went through, being in the military and some PTSD. Dr. Amy, him and his dog they go everywhere together. The change that it made in his life, he said, is something he can't even put into words. So I think emotionally, it just has a way of uplifting, when we need it most.
Yep. I have dogs that like to cuddle, and
Yeah.
so if I'm ever having a bad day, I just get a little cuddle fest going on, and
Makes
might
everything
get some
better.
kisses, some
Yeah.
wet, smelly kisses, but
It makes everything better. It does.
yeah, and they're always happy
Mhm.
every time I come in the room. Hey.
Yeah. They'll never disappoint. And like I
Yep.
said, they really have the ability, and some more than others.
Right.
I mean, people get emotional support pets and, service dogs. Some are better at others than in reading. I've been sick. We went through our bouts, a few years ago, right, with everybody getting COVID. And, I had a knee surgery where I got blood clots. My Cocker Spaniel knew it immediately and is
Wow.
almost like alerted me. And if I wasn't attentive to that, I mean, honestly, it probably saved my life. So I think in just so many ways, it's probably one of the best parts of life is having a pet.
Yeah, and there are some breeds of dog too that can be trained to sense blood sugar changes and
Mhm.
seizure and all kinds of things that a properly trained dog can be a medical assistant as well.
Absolutely. And you know what? And without medical, it just, at the end of a day, like I said, a long day or you're retired and just have a lot of time on your hands. Having a dog at home with you or to travel with you and go out with you places, a running partner, it can honestly change everything.
Yep, and studies have shown that owning a pet can reduce your cortisol levels. That's the stress hormone. It also boosts oxytocin, which is the feel-good hormone.
Nice.
So inside, we're changing, having
Absolutely.
being pet owners. So do you think owning pets actually helps people increase their physical activity as well?
Yes. I mean, it's going to push you even on days that you don't feel like getting up to go walking or to go out. You have to now. You have this little 1 or 2, or if you're like me, 4 or 5 dogs at home that keep you very active and moving even when you don't feel like it. And honestly, and again, that physical goes right back to the mood, right? Because if you're feeling down, and just not feeling yourself or emotionally, physically in any way, that dog pushing you to get up and move can actually change not just the physical, but the mood as well. So I think definitely, being active, going for walks, you have to get up and feed them. So it's going to get you moving for sure.
Now, you mentioned you have 5 dogs?
Shouldn't be saying that, but yes.
5 dogs. And you are running this organization, and you are very active in the community, raising awareness and collecting funds so that you can help these animals.
Yes.
How do you stay grounded doing all of that?
Exactly what we just said, by having the love of the dogs. I mean, I try to take time for myself. It's hard, running the organization and running the county's lost pet page, on top of the organization, it doesn't leave me much time to sometimes feel grounded. But like I said, after a long day, you get Otis that senses it and will lay like he's laying in my lap now and come and cuddle, and it just helps me to decompress at the end of the day. It really does.
So you mentioned the lost pet page. So you've been known to be out at all hours,
Yes,
tracking down lost pets. So tell us about that. How does that work?
So the Lost Pet page is on Facebook. It's kind of went over to like other apps like Nextdoor now, where they're posted there too. But most people, when they see a loose dog, or cat, or have lost a pet, will post on social media. And 9 times out of 10, there's Facebook groups where they're posting. But the Lost Pet page is, simply for that. I am tagged probably 150 times a day about loose or lost dogs. It has grown. When I took over the page many years ago, once or twice a week, and now that is sometimes the amount of dogs now is insane. How many? Cats is a little different. We don't really go out searching for cats because there's groups and community cats and people that help out with the cats, so we stick more to the dogs. But there's a lot of cats posted as well, and it's hard to really know, and especially if you're not experienced with cats. Some of them are indoor-outdoor cats, some have slipped out of a house, and some just live outdoors. I would never know the difference, so I leave that to the professionals that deal with that. But the dogs, it's honestly, Dr. Amy, it's every day. So usually I'll help and be a resource with going out and searching. We have humane traps that are built like a crate, right? And it's automatic triggers when the dog steps on a plate that the dog will go in and be locked in the trap. So for a dog that we can't catch that is lost or dumped, we'll use a trap and we'll set up cameras so we know when the dog goes in. If a family lost a pet, we'll help them get signs up in the area, lost dog signs. Usually if you lose a pet, you're kind of in anxiety mode and don't really know where to begin, especially if it's never happened to you before. So I think just kind of being a resource and helping them and understanding, putting up the flyers is most crucial because people see the dog and have a number to call. It's right in front of them. So being a resource, I'll take dogs out like Otis with me that are submissive to catch a lost dog that is scared. 9 times out of 10, if you have a dog with you, they'll come up to you versus being by yourself. So
I did not know that.
Yes. It's most people feel like, their dog is very social and go up to anybody, right? Because your dog is being the happy, playful, love everybody dog at home. When they get lost and they're out loose and can't find home, it's a different dog.
Yeah.
Their anxiety kicks in, their fear of everybody and every car kicks in. So having something that's familiar to them, like another dog, it just kind of helps them trust you a little more to help catch them.
Now, do you have people that help you, with the search and rescue kind of?
Yeah, a lot of people on the page help and assist, and it's amazing. Really, if we have a dog that's lost, the community kicks in, into overdrive. It's an amazing thing to watch. So we do have a team of volunteers. We're all volunteers. So we'll go out and help with a lot of that. A lot of the trapping and stuff, there's just a handful of us that do that. We can always use the support of more people. But yeah, it really is a group effort. A lot of volunteers, just helping, being kind of boots on the ground. Sometimes with those searches, we have to go into wooded lots and do, some heavy searching and in woods, sometimes at night being out. So having more than just myself is good. And we have a great community for it, honestly.
Well, that's fabulous. And even with our own wellness, volunteering actually helps enhance wellness.
Oh, yes.
And being part of an effort, the community. So I think there's so much that can help us just be healthier, happier people.
Absolutely.
And we help the animals too.
Yes. I love it. And the volunteers, honestly, the volunteers are crucial for us to get what we do. And not just on the Lost Pet page, but in rescue. We set up and do the events that we do, or even just our adoption events at PetSmart and Tractor Supply, let us set up and do events there to get the dogs adopted. How many volunteers I have dictates how many dogs I can bring out, because I can't manage everything by myself. So even if somebody wants to volunteer, just coming out to do that and help getting them adopted, it's a great time. It's really no work involved. You're just there mingling with the dogs and
Play with the dog
yeah,
for an afternoon and
yeah.
get your oxytocin levels up. And
I love it. I love it, and especially for the people that can't foster because they have a dog that might not be good with other dogs or so.
Yeah.
You can still come out and help out with getting them adopted. It's a great time.
That's so wonderful. So how do people find out about your events, what you're up to, and how they can get involved?
Either our Facebook page of Smart of Flagler County on Facebook, or a lot of it is on our website, smartflagler.com. So yeah, if you head over there, you'll see all of our upcoming events. Events is crucial for us, Dr. Amy, because we don't get any funding, city or county, at this point. So everything is donation-based and fundraiser-based. So in order for us to really cover all the vet cost and the need, the smart van, the rescue van, and supplies, we have to do events. We host usually an event, usually once a month at least. So some of them small, some of them bigger. So hopefully everybody will check them out on our website.
Yes, and they can participate. You need help. You need volunteers to help with the event.
Absolutely.
And of course, donations. So there's a
Yes.
link on your page.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for being here. And I want to thank Otis for being our great co-host today. And
Sleeping with his face
sleeping.
buried. Yeah.
Yes, so cozy. So we'll post everything on our site too, on our page, and hopefully we'll get some more volunteers and some more help for these
Absolutely.
animals.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Dr. Amy, and your support.
Okay. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. If there are topics you would like to hear about, please send an email to radiantpodcast2025@gmail.com. Check out past episodes on Amethyst Wellness YouTube. And we are now featured on Apple Podcasts and all your favorite platforms. Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review with a quick comment. It really helps us reach more listeners just like you. I'll be back next Saturday morning at 7:30 with more expert insights and practical strategies to help you live your healthiest, most energized life. Until then, stay healthy, and here's to your best life.